I'm back. Oh, what have we got today? Well, this, believe it or not, it's a GX-10 guitar effects processor, just as it says on here. And a while back I reviewed a GX-100. Pretty good pedal that was. But I wonder if it's all been carried through onto this unit. Yeah, we're going to find out today, big time. Has it got the same processors? Has it got the same this? Does it do that? Can it this? You get the idea. So let's unbox this and take a quick look. Okay, well this one's never been opened, so let's see what you get. This is exactly as it comes. Yeah, great big box, little inside. This is all about power. And there's a power cable in there, so we'll put that aside for now. But what else do you get? Well, you get the unit itself. And you get a manual, more about that too. So let's get it out of this. This is exactly as it comes from Roland Boss. Well, I guess if you've had one of these for Christmas or something like that, yeah, this could be a good video for you, because I'm going to show you the inside, the outside, the software, everything about it. It should all be good. Oh, and by the way, I actually bought this. Yeah, actually bought it with real money from out of my pocket. Nobody gave it to me, and I had to pay over the odds a little bit to even get one. Most of them are back ordered, or at the time of video they are. Yeah, so bear that in mind, won't you? Yeah. Oh, you got lots of money, then why are you buying this? Why not buy the GX-100, which is, in my opinion, probably better, because it's got more of these things on it. Switches. You know the problem with the FM3? 3 switches and tap dancing. Well, will this be the same? Anyway, let's get down. Let's have a look what it's made of inside, and have a quick look at the quality and the rest of it. Okay, well, here's a quick overview inside the GX-10. And right off, they put a sticker over the processor. I'll hopefully be able to take a closer look at that. I might even scrape it off just to take a look at what the processor actually is and compare it to the GX-1000. It might be similar, but it might not be. You know what these sneaky people are like. Okay, you can see that this thing has been manufactured very clearly on a PCB, and the PCB is of particularly high quality, as it always is in Roland products, and that matters really, because if you buy something of less quality of the main board, well then, well, it could be liable to bad quality later down the line, just when it's run out of warranty, which should be fun for some. But this one, I'm happy to report, is nigh on perfect. That's all I could say about that. Well, there's the processor area. Like I said, not much to see really, because I can't really get into inside that. We'll come back to that in a moment. But you can see the overall quality here. It's excellent quality. It's probably as good as you can get. But of course, the great thing about it is that it's high technology, and it's pretty much up to date as that. Probably a multi-layered board, and I can see down the side of this actually 2 boards, one sandwiched above the other. And if you was to look down here, you can see where they sort of link through between the boards. Yeah, all very interesting. But yeah, it's great until you get a major problem on it, and then of course you might take a bit of finding to solve the problem. Yeah, that's not a good answer, but there you go. That's the way it is. Now, in passing, I also wanted to just point out the connectors that are on the board. I always do that. As you can see, there they are across the back, and most of them are plastic. Some of them have got a metal shroud, as you can see, maybe relating to inputs and that sort of thing. Who knows? I don't know what this this sponge is here for. Who knows? Maybe they're waiting for it to rain or something. I don't know. You got another metal connector there. You got a switch mounted directly on the PCB, which is the on and off switch. And there's There's the power at the end, which power's normal for these, so they are. Whizzing back across to those others, they're not quite as bad as you might think they are, you know, with them being plastic, because on the outside edge, they're all metalized, so they aren't connecting to the outside world and anything except metal. And there's a more close-up view of the 3 switches. There they are on their little PCB. All very nice, pretty robust by the looks of it. Okay, well, here we are around the back. Nice quick look around here at the I/O, and we'll get on with it. As I said, it's a GX-10. You've got a ground plane there, which you can connect a ground to if you're getting problems with noise and stuff like that. Moving along, we've got the guitar input, pretty obvious really. We've got an output section between these 2 lines. We've got a right and a left. Or phones. Yeah, and use left for mono. We've got a send and a return between these 2 lines. Again, very simple. It's one of the things about the pedal, it's easier. We can use Roland, Boss, Control 2, 3, or an expression pedal in there, or I think all of them if you get the right cable. No, maybe not. I've been asleep since I last looked at that. Moving along a bit, this is a cost-cutting area. Optional Bluetooth dual adapter required for Bluetooth support, so no Bluetooth if you don't spend the money on that, and I'll cover how much that is a little bit later. It's great to see that this device has got USB-C type, fast USB-C. It's got a Kensington lock there. Greatly, it's got a power on and off, which a lot of them don't, and a DC in. And by the way, that power adapter we looked at in its brown cardboard box is a PSB1U, and that's becoming very, very common for most of the pedals that Roland Boss make these days. Just moving back a little bit, there's Roland Corporation's full address, which is supposed to be on there as part of the approvals. Here's the CE, the FCC, the UKCA, that's Roche, and that's WEEE, so they're all there, where it's made. It's even patented, if you go and have a look. It's a GX-10, there's its serial number. Do I even care? Of course not. Let's go to the top. Now, as you can see, this is a nice little pedal. It's not too big. Of course, it does have the limitation of the 3 switches, which, like I said earlier, I've got an FM3 here from Fractal, and that basically you end up tap dancing around the pedals unless you spend another 500 and odd pounds. Well, here they are, and I didn't see, by the way, any MIDI on this. There might be some, but I didn't see it. So yeah, won't worry about that. Maybe it comes over that USB, because you can't do that these days. Okay, we've got selector knobs here that control parameters that are on the screen when the screen's turned on, and we'll come to that in a little while. Again, you push this to select, or you can just turn this around and around. We'll look at it in a while. There's an output level, general output. We can move across from page to page on what's on the screen. This is the button for the menu, so we can get into the menu and change a few things. Effects button, obvious. This is to exit from whatever it is you're doing, and we can write the stuff out. It's got this underlying technology, that's what I'll call it, AirD. Yeah, more about that later, maybe, or not, if I can't be bothered to look. And of course we've got a pedal here that is either a wah-wah pedal or isn't a wah-wah pedal. It could be any type of pedal to control volume or anything else for that matter, but pretty much so. And that's it. These light up, which they should. And yeah, that's the top. That's all there is to say about that for now. Now do remember, I'm a bit like you. I've never actually been and used a GX-10 ever. Yeah, that's true. But I have just plugged this one in and it's ready to turn on. I just thought I'd show you what it's like when we whack it on. Let's have a go. What do you get? Version 1.01035, remember that. GX-10 guitar effects processor. Bit slow, isn't it? Oh no, it's getting there. Auto off function is enabled. The GX-10 will turn itself off, that is, if played or used in any way after 20 minutes. Yeah, well, let's have a look at setup. Oh, it is a touchscreen. We can have 20 minutes, 1 hour, 5 hours, 10 hours. Oh, I tend to opt for 5 myself. What do you think? Yeah. Okay, that. And there we are. We're into the unit. Let me zoom in a bit closer on this section. Now, I won't be spending all day looking around this screen, but I do just want to show you the screen. That's it. You've got the quality, you can see that. Hopefully. Yeah, I want to look at the menu. I'll press the menu and see what we get. They're the choices you've got. We've got in and out settings, control and expression, auto off, Bluetooth when it's fitted. Sad if it isn't. It is sad. Control mode, hardware settings, play options, tuner. Oh, there is MIDI. There it is. USB, other information and factory reset. Let's have a look at information first, why not? Reference manual, go download it. What do you think of that? Well, it's one way of doing things. And I always download the manual myself because you learn a lot of things that sometimes are not obvious, especially if you're new to this gear. If this is a new piece of gear to you and it's your prized possession, well, you're going to want to know everything you can about it. That's what I say. In and out settings, oh, look at that. Input settings, output settings, well, you've got a global EQ, that's nice. And I'll be looking at most of this stuff in the software, so I'm not going to spend long on this. Input settings, there you go. Guitar or whatever. Anyway, I don't really care to spend all day in that. Let's exit. Output settings pretty obvious. Global EQ. Yeah, there they are. You can play around until your heart's content. Control and expression. We can assign various bits and pieces. I'm not spending all day on these. I just want to show them you. The Bluetooth. Oh, there it is. Audio, audio, audio. What not? Control mode. What we got here? Scroll through memories with 2 switches. Or we can directly access the 3 memories in a bank, or we can directly access the FX on and off and other assignable functions, all useful stuff. Hardware settings, what we got in there? Expression hold, pedal calibration, LCD brightness, colour mode, unlock. Yeah, all these self-explanatory, aren't they? Play options, bank mode, bank extent minimum, bank extent maximum, tuner, MIDI settings, program, there, USB, there they are, levels in and out, information, factory reset. I think that was it really, so I'm going to exit out of that. So that's the menu. If we look at the effects, what do we get there? Oh yeah, the path. It's very similar to the, well, it's almost the same as the GX-10. It comes along here, you can split it, you can do this, you can do that. I'm not going to spend time on it right now because, look at that later. If there's pages, we can hop across the pages. You notice at the bottom of the screen. And other than that, I'm going to exit that. And that's enough for up the top there. Let's get on and look a bit further at the rest of it. Well, there you go. It's quite nice to come back to a piece of gear like a GX-10 after looking at some of the other stuff. I could mention names, but I don't think I will. But I've been trying to get some information out of one supplier, actually for about a week now. I've been passed from pillar to post, and I expected better out of the company, if you want the truth. They did send me the unit, not this one, but they did send me the unit, and I'm still waiting for the answer. And if I don't get the answer, I'm going to send the product back. Yeah, I haven't got the spare time to mess around, if you want the truth. But anyway, here we are, and we're still back on the GX-10. And this is a great little pedal for anybody who doesn't want them great big things and doesn't want to spend a fortune either. I think this one was about £350 or somewhere near there, maybe about 360 something, because I had to pay a little, about £15 over the odds from what everybody else was selling it at. But nobody else had got one in stock, which says a lot about a pedal like this. That means that, well, they're either in short supply or they've sold out, and I think it's the latter. Yeah, it's not a bad pedal, and if it's anything like the GX-10, that was quite a good pedal, and I must say it was worth the effort. Okay, let's take a look at a few of the chips that are in this beast. Well, it's not quite so big a beast as the GX-10, and I have a review of that down in the text, where that goes a lot further than this one. But there again, there's more to show. Processor in this one is a Roland processor. I wrote it down here. It's an E4E 51000696994. That's what it is. It'll be one of those systems on a chip. Yeah. Can I tell you much about it? I think in one of my recent videos I did harp on about the systems on a chip, or system on a chip type of processors that Roland uses. And there was some specifications, but all I can tell you, looking at this unit and having a quick look back on the GX-10, the processors look about the same. I can tell you that I only got to one side of the board on this, but on the GX-10, there seemed to be another processor on the other side of the board. On this one, I don't see that. I see a few little components, but I don't actually see another processor. There might be one, but I doubt it. That's probably where they differentiated the two products. Next thing up, as you can see on the screen, was this MX25L 25645GM2I-08G. All that just for a bit of memory. Sounds to me like it's an IC flash 256-bit SPI 120 meg 8 SOP. That's what it says, and it costs all of £2.91. So there it is, bit of memory on the board. Can't say more. Well, the next one up is a audio codec. Yeah, well, you're going to have that in there, aren't you? I'm sure you are. Well, I know you are, because there's a picture of it. And it says here, I've got to read it because I don't keep it in my head. It's an AK4619VN 192 kHz 4-channel audio codec. It's AKM's AK4619 accepts a variety of analog sources, making it well suited for many audio applications. So it's an A to D, probably. Support for full differential, pseudo differential, and single-ended input sources. It goes into card audios, car navigation, display audio, audio interfaces, and electronic musical instruments. What more can I say? They're £3.91, that's what I can say, and that's enough of that one, really. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay, well, we're going to cover this one just the fact that it's in there. A 4556A, that's a dual high current op amp, or operational amplifier, as they call them. It does what all the others do. Supply voltage, high output current, slew rate, gain bandwidth. You don't really want to know, but it is in there. I just thought I'd show it to you. Yeah. Now there are lots of other things in there, like them little round capacitors you saw. Yeah, thousands and thousands of them. Well, not literally, but there's probably 20 or 30 of them. Yeah, at least. And that's a lot of little capacitors. They can go wrong later in life, but there is also an electrolytic sitting at the side, and that can go wrong too later in life. It might be a number of years down the road, but if ever you do get trouble 10 years from now or something like that, have a look at that, won't you? Now, just before I do actually move on from the chip section and the rest, let's just have a quick look at some of the specifications, because I have got a piece of paper about the GX-10, things like that. Anyway, on the GX-10, believe it or not, sampling rate's 48 kHz, which is pretty good. It's pretty cool, that is. There's an A to D converter, which we've mentioned. It's 24-bit plus AF method, it says here. AF method, adaptive focus method. It's proprietary from Roland and Boss and improves the signal to noise ratio and the A to D and D to A converters. DA conversion is 32 bits. It's processing 32-bit floating point processor. It doesn't go into hyper effects, but it does say here that there's 170 effects, types that is, in this thing. You can have on this 15 plus 3 effects. Yeah, that's quite a lot really. Memories, there's 108 user memories and 99 presets, which is, well, par for the course, isn't it? It's got a phrase loop, you know, a looper. 38 seconds mono and 19 seconds stereo. It's if it floats your boat, it's there, right? I don't use them, but tuner internal detection plus or minus 0.1 of a cent. Controls, down switch, up switch, control ones. Oh, you don't want any of that. The display, that was interesting. It's a color graphic LCD, 480 by 272 dots, and it's a touchscreen. Well, let's just check something. Yes, as you can see on screen right now, it's a 4-inch display. Yeah, you've got to watch these 4-inch displays because I've come across them before, particularly on touchscreens, where the text can be too little for you to mess around with. Yeah, I've come across that more than once, in fact. So do bear in mind it's only a 4-inch screen. Then again, it's a cheapish, smallish device. The unit weighs, by the way, 2.2 kilograms for you guys who can't pick amperes up. And its size is, its width is 11 and 13/16 inches, or 300 mil. And its its depth, front to back, is 7 and 3/16 inches, or 183 mil. Its height is 74 mil. And that's about it. Yeah, what else can I say? Well, I could harp on about accessories and stuff like that, but you'll be just spending money. So anyway, if you want to connect your phone, that's all well and good, but you're not going to connect it to this unless you buy that Bluetooth adapter, and it's called a Boss BT dual Bluetooth adapter. It says here, that's what it says, and from Thomann, it's £41. Yeah, that's what it is. You plug it in the back. Oh, you didn't plug it in. Well, you ain't got Bluetooth then. It's a bit of a shortcoming, that is, I think. They aren't £41 when you had them on the PCB. Just another way of making money, isn't it? But that's life. Bear in mind there's no Bluetooth as standard. So add another 40 quid. You're now up to, well, I was about 350, 360, somewhere there. So I'm now on about 410, 420 pounds, that is, which is about, well, it's still cheaper than the GX-100. I agree. But the GX-100's got so many more advantages by way of those pedals. Becomes a tough choice. Oh, the GX-100 doesn't have Bluetooth. Well, it might or might not. You need to go and look at my review. It's down there in the text. One last thing on accessories. Just wanted to raise this point. There is a device called a FS-1-WL, and that's like a 3-pedal or a 3-button controller that you can use with the GX-10. So that makes it better for use, really. 3-button thing isn't the best in the world, never has been. But you could add that. But there is one problem. The FS1WL requires the Bluetooth connector, which is another £41 on the top of the FS1WL. And scarily, the price of the FS1WL from Anderton's, as I speak, happens to be £99. So why would you waste your time buying a GX-10 if you want all the control? Because by the time you've bought the adapter, the Bluetooth adapter, and the FS1WL, trust me, you're within a few pounds of the GX100. Well, here we are in the software section, and the first thing you want to look at is the version of firmware that's on your device. This one came with version 1.01. If you remember, I did show you on the screen earlier. But currently, in December, towards the end of December 2024, there is a version 1.04 firmware, which I'll go and update without boring you too much, but I just wanted to raise that point. Yeah, we'll come back to the software as soon as I've done that. Okay, well, here we are in Boss Tone Studio for the GX-10. Now I'm going to keep this all simple. I'm not going to spend all day going through every last thing on this thing because, well, to be honest, I did it virtually on the GX-100. And most of this stuff in here is pretty much what you'd expect it to be. I mean, what can I say? So let's have a quick overview about the thing. Let's go from the top. Well, you've got user and preset stuff here. They're the presets over there. So that's how you choose them. And your user ones are copied across. So you can sort of mess with them and basically save them somewhere else. The presets are the presets, and I guess they'll just sit there. We've got an editor, which we're in. You can see it's lit up. It comprises of all this stuff. The GX dual drive is here, and you can see exactly the same thing right there, the GX dual drive. So this is a representation of what's on there, and what's on there is a representation of what's on here. Yeah, they match. So we can look at all the various things that we could add to this path. We'll come back to that in a bit. Next thing we got in line is a thing called a librarian, and you'll see it says there live set 1, and there's actually nothing in it. Well, think of live sets like a list of tones, if you will. We could drag a few across from there. You can see it's pulled across. Well, let's have a look at that one. There they are. Okay, you can see I've put a couple in, and they become part of this live set that you can upload, download, and do as you like with them. And they're addressable, obviously, from the pedal later on. I don't worry too much about that. There it is. That's how you do it, the simplicity of it. We've got a thing called Tone Exchange, which will flip you to online. I'm going to reject the cookies because I'm like that. And for the GX-10, we've got this stuff that's online that we can go and pull down. Now, some of it might be chargeable, some of it might not. But you can see them there. There's a couple of pages of stuff here. Yeah, all very good, especially if you're not familiar with it. But do remember to sign into your Roland account, and then you can do more with it. Yeah, we got a tuner or a tuner. Yeah, EADGBE. There it is. I'm going to worry too much about that. Just put it away. Just show you. An IR loader. Some people don't know what an IR is. Well, it's basically a sort of response file that can simulate, I'll call it that, a speaker. Some people would say, well, it's exactly the same, Tony. Well, it might be, might not be, but at the end of the day, and you pull your IRs into here, and you can have, how many can you have? 16 according to this. You can load them up, I'm not going to do it. And then use them in this stuff here. Yeah, that seems like a plan, but it's like everything else, depends what you want to do. Let's carry on along. Got a menu there with a lot of stuff that you might want to change. It's easier to do, I have to say, from the PC than it is sitting fiddling on that thing. Hardware settings, remember we set it for 5 hours and auto off. Remember that? Wonder if you can actually turn that off. Yeah, you can. Well, increases power consumption. Yeah, well, so what? Play options, MIDI settings, MIDI programming map, USB settings, owner's manual. By the way, it says manual download page, but it's all in HTML, which sounds to me like you're not going to be able, well, I've clicked it, you're not going to be able to pull it down in the way that you might think. Here we are, manual. There's the simple one, it's a PDF, but as soon as you come any further down, it's all in HTML and online. So do bear that in mind, won't you? Especially if you've got no internet connection. It should be fun. I don't like that at all. I think that's a bit of a pain. Got some device settings. This is the device. MIDI in, MIDI out, blah, blah, blah. Version, I did update this, but this is actually not version firmware on the unit. This is actually Tone Central's version, and that's the only one that was there when I had a look. What else in there? GX-10 just says GX-10, don't do anything. And then we can move down further to the actual preset. There it goes, pretty slow, but it does work. You can see on this one, there's not really that much. What I like about this one is you can actually take these things and add them in, like that. Oh, we added a boost. Well, I don't want a boost in there as it happens, so we can actually turn it off. Yeah. But 1001 things you can do. There's lots of amps to go at. Well, quite a few. I'm sure you'll find something to work on. Speaker type, original, or any one of these others that you can see on the screen. And so on and so forth. You've got these little things across the top: delete, insert, overwrite, sort by, type name, controller expression, setting that up. I'm not going to go through it, just too much to do. Input and output settings. Again, like I said, it's all easier when you're on this as opposed to where you are with the other stuff. That's just my opinion, but it is much easier. And then we can write it out. If we want to write it out, we can write it or initialize it. Well, if I write it out, do it. You can see. Don't take forever, but in the same context, it is what it is. Come on, wakey wakey. There it goes. If I look on the unit under the effects, you can now see, if you can see that, I think you can see that screen there. There's the boost that we added. And yeah, if I turn it on, it turns on over there. All very nice and simple stuff. So I can remove it just as easy, by the way. Delete. Yeah, I'm sure. And that's deleted it back out, you can see over there. So it's all pretty simple. The insert will allow you to insert, but you just pick them up. If you want to look at these, there's lots of these to go at. We can go all the way down to the end. Lots of them. So we've got all them, all these, all the way back. So lots of stuff to go at. I'm not going to spend time on it any more than that. It's sort of an introduction to it. But what I think is this is nice and simple. It's like the GX-10, but just as simple. Yeah. What else can I say? One thing I've noticed, by the way, is that I don't seem to see Tone Central anymore. I see Tone Exchange now. What's that about? And I also see this called Tone Studio. I don't remember it being called that. I thought it was all called Tone Central. Might be me, might be just the brain going a bit dodgy, but don't worry about it. I just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, how weird. Yeah. Still, they do what they do. Let's go back up. Well, there you go. Pretty interesting little device. Not spending all day on it because it's pretty well known these days by software. You know, it's a standardized piece of software. And the hardware's pretty standardized as well. You know, when you look at the specifications and all the rest of it, the chips, the this, the that, it's all pretty much standard these days. It does have a 4-inch screen that I thought was a bit... they're not that good 4-inch screens, especially when they're touch screens. You might find that you might not be able to get the exact thing you want every time. And I saw that on a head rush on the MX-5. Quite difficult. So the software became, not on the head rush because there wasn't any at the time, the software became easier to make this work. That's important. The manual, by the way, this is the one out the box. This is like a, it says read me first, like a starter guide. It's pretty, pretty crass really compared to what it should be. They've done away with the manuals to get the prices down and all the rest. So you've now only got a HTML manual, which is online. And if you ain't got online, wherever you are, for whatever reason, tough. You got no manual. I'm sure people will find a way around it or sit there writing for weeks on end. The included power supply, remember that. It's in here. I'm not going to pull it out. I have told you which one it is. And it's a pretty good power supply, I must say. It's pretty standardised throughout a lot of Roland equipment these days, and I think that's a good thing. There's no faffing around. Remember how it used to be? No? Oh, you're one of the lucky ones. Well, I should cover likes and dislikes, shouldn't I? Yeah, of course I should. Well, the likes are, it's well made. The likes are, actually, it's relatively easy to use and it's relatively affordable. That's an important point, especially when you're a younger guy and you haven't got maybe all the sort of money that the older guys got. You know what I mean. I like the I/O. There's no manual MIDI on here, but you can drive it through the USB. Yeah, that's all good. What else do I like? I like the sounds of it. It sounds quite reasonable. Quite reasonable, especially for that money. How does it compare to other devices? Well, the GX-10 I always thought was actually pretty good for the money. And I think this is pretty good for the money as well. Yeah, what don't I like? I don't like having to buy a Bluetooth connector to stick on the back for 44 quid. I don't like 3 buttons because it's a bit 90s, isn't it? Well, it's very 90s. I don't like having to pay £99 for another one from Roland, plus the £44 to turn this into more than 3 buttons. That's pretty grim in its own way. I think it's one of those shortcomings that has been applied to get the price down. But to be honest, for your $599 when I saw the GX-10, I'd have the 100. But that's just my opinion. This one is great if you're just starting out, or you're this, or you're that, or you're short space, or whatever. What the GX-100 is, better value. You still have to buy, if I remember right, you still have to buy that Bluetooth. I remember right. I've been asleep since then. I can't seem to find much about warranty, so I'll assume it's 1 year. Yeah, it'd been nice to be 3 years or something like that, wouldn't it? You know, a bit of backup from the manufacturer to say that their equipment's great. Or not so great, so we'll give you 1 year warranty. I don't know. Go figure that one. I could harp on about 1,000 other things. I'm not going to. Anybody who's had one for Christmas, at least you've got a bit of a overview about the unit. And if you haven't had one for Christmas, well, it might be an overview to let you go buy one. Or maybe buy the GX-100. It's a matter of opinion. I think I've covered most things, and I don't really want to waste any more time. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in and do a bit of playing. And it's all rock and roll. And that's it. Yeah. And don't forget, by the way, you do want to subscribe and do that thumbs up thing and ring that bell. Because if you don't, one of these days I won't be here. I don't really care so much these days. Yeah, wears a bit thin on YouTube sometimes. And yeah, you don't want me harping on about that. So that is the GX-10. Great for what it is. And what's its score? Well, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And it's not because it sounds bad or anything like that. It's just these 3 buttons. The buttons are sometimes a pain. And they're not, well, I say they are. They could be, depending what you want to do. If you want to store 50 different things, you know, and get it all 50 easily. Yeah, different answer. So the plane's coming up now. This will be plugged straight into the desk. There are no amplifiers. There's no anything except this and a desk to a hard drive system. And you'll hear exactly how it comes out. It won't be embellished in any way. It'll be as it sounds. It'll be just a few reference tones so you can get an idea of what the pedal's all about. Hope you like this one. I like it. Not bad. And yeah, I'll have to look forward to what's coming up next, won't you? See you soon. Now get out of here.